Hey everybody, we've got a quick Saturday morning video this time to discuss the fallout from the Biden-George Stephanopoulos interview last night. And I think everybody is wondering, is Biden going to step aside or is he going to stick it out? We'll get to the Democrats that are asking him to drop out as well as take a look at the markets. But first I'm going to scroll through this article from CNN that covers the interview. Now that we've had over a week to digest Biden's debate performance, the overwhelming reaction we've seen is it was almost, if not a complete disaster. We haven't gotten a ton of polling yet, but most of it does show that Trump has gone up a little bit. So this Stephanopoulos interview was the big event so Biden can right the ship and get back on track. He had a ton of pressure to deliver a strong performance, so did he do it? Well, the short answer is no, I don't think he did. First of all, it was only about 22 minutes. I thought he was going to go for an hour or more. After that, I think it's pretty easy to say that it was at least better than the performance in the debate, but he did not come close to hitting any kind of a home run. He still looked old, he still looked tired, but what about the answers he gave? Well, he kept saying that it was a bad night and there's nobody else to blame but him. At one point, he also said he was distracted by Trump talking over him when his microphone was off, and there was also some kind of a jet lag, and plus Trump lied so many times, so a couple of shaky answers, but he's not entirely trying to pass the blame here. He does own up to it, but at this point, how much does that really cut it? The optics are almost everything in this situation, and if Biden looks extremely old or even frail or has dementia, the only possible way I saw for Biden to get out of this even a little bit would be to address that issue directly. He could say he wasn't feeling good, it was an off night, but he wants to tell the American people there are no underlying issues with his mental acuity. And to prove that to every voter out there, he's going to take every kind of cognitive test they can throw at him. And he's also going to sit down and do lots of long-form interviews to regain his support. But that's not what we saw. What we did see is that he says every day he takes a cognitive test. And I think that is woefully an inadequate answer. I don't think anybody's really going to accept that. If the people wanted you to take this test to quell their concerns, and if you thought it was no problem, you would take that in a second. So because we didn't get that, I think ultimately the interview is going to be viewed as a failure by most voters. Biden said he didn't even watch the debate, so who knows what's really going on here, but I thought the worst part of that debate might be after it ended, when Jill Biden told Joe that he answered all the questions and that he had all the facts. To me, that was legitimately depressing and concerning. She was talking to him like he was a little kid. This is supposed to be the president coming off a massive debate? I found that to be even more troubling than most of the answers in the debate, so it's going to be up to you to decide if Biden was just off his game that night or if there really is an underlying cognitive issue. There's been polls where a lot of Democrats are split, but enough of them do say that Biden should step aside. The only good thing for Biden is we've still got about 4 months to go. So Trump has been laying low after the debate. I think he knows he won that one and he doesn't want to look like a jerk. And I understand on the other side, a lot of people are not at all a fan of Trump. He's got a different kind of baggage. It's all pretty much out in the open. A lot of people already seem to think this about Biden, but it wasn't until right now that everything kind of just burst open. But I have seen some devoted Biden supporters, and they just say that he had a one-off bad night. His policies are phenomenal, and they can't wait to support him in the general election. That's always going to happen in politics on every side, but this is pretty much all everybody's talking about. What if Biden steps aside? Then what happens? Well, first of all, if you want a list of who's actually asked Biden to drop out, here it is right here. We've got a few U.S. reps, we've got some publications and some donors, and I'm sure there's going to be more trickling in. From what I hear, people think that if it's not Biden, then it's going to be his VP Harris. Now, would Harris be better than Biden? And if so, by how much? Harris has had her own slate of troubles during these past 3.5 years. I think that's a completely separate discussion, but for now they're going to say it's Team Biden all the way, and that's going to be true until it's not. Now, if we get on PredictIt and see what the markets are showing, this is obviously subject to change, but right now it's close, but Harris has a slight edge over Biden. And I've said it before, but I think all the Democrats had to do was have a legitimate open primary 6 months ago. That would have let Biden really sharpen his skills and prove his case. Plus, it would have looked like there was a serious competition for the nomination. So to see this happening right now is actually a pretty bad situation for the Democrats. But again, if there's any silver lining, it's going to be because we've got 4 months to go. And the other market we can take a look at just for fun is going to be who will win the 2024 general election. Right now, Trump is in the high 50s, then Harris and Biden are in the low to mid 20s. So this past week has got to be one of the best Trump has ever had. However, as I always say, it doesn't mean things can't change in the future. With 4 months to go, I'm expecting a lot of things to come up. Doesn't mean they're going to totally shake up the race, but with more than 100 days left, I'm definitely not thinking this thing is over. The last thing I'll point out here is we've got Senator Mark Warner works to gather Senate Democrats to ask Biden to exit race. So I'm sure we're going to see more of this over the next week plus as we start to get closer to the RNC convention. Biden could always surprise and say he's dropping out at any point, but I am curious to see if he's going to say no. He's got the ability to beat Trump and he's going to stick it out until the bitter end. So that's pretty much what's going on with Biden. But I want to point out one other thing in this image. We've got a press conference here, but what is going on with Senator Sinema? I've looked at this for a few minutes and I have no idea what I'm looking at. If we look down at the ground, we can see there's something there. And to me, it looks like it goes up her skirt. And then, of course, her right foot is behind it in the background. Maybe this is completely obvious and I missed it, but I would hope somebody in the comments would be able to explain what's actually happening here. I'm sure there's a lot more comments and jokes you could make about it, but I'm going to leave it there for now. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about what's happening with Biden and the Dems? Do you think he's going to drop out, or do you think he's going to keep on going? Is the pressure going to build for him to step aside? And what if Harris steps into the picture? Do you think she's going to be more or less of a threat to Trump? Let me know down below on your way out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.